Evening, morning, wherever you are. A few news stories out of Hillsborough this week. Well, a few out of Hillsborough and one from a sort of third party, but related to Hillsborough and the matters going on there. Probably tackle that one first. This is a chap called Charlie Methven, who one time was a director at Sunderland and somewhere else, Oxford maybe. Anyway, he's been talking to a podcast, and obviously being involved in football is a small world. He's heard some news regarding our owner, and the news that he's heard is that Mr. Chansiri and his legal team fully fancy taking on the regulator when it comes to it. Now that comes as no surprise to us as Wednesday fans, no surprise at all, for the simple fact that we know that Mr. Chansiri don't feel like he's done anything wrong, so a regulator coming after him, we know he'll fight it tooth and nail, because it's the sort of personality that he is. In fact, not only does he not feel he's done anything wrong, he's always at pains to tell us he's doing his absolute best. Now, his absolute best isn't good enough for Sheffield Wednesday, that's the truth of the matter, but he don't see it that way. I mean, we are talking about a man who sold his own ground to himself and managed to somehow file it in the wrong tax year. That's his best. He did go on to make another point, Mr. Methven. It was a striking one, and one that sort of struck a chord with me. This will be the first sort of major battle that the new regulator faces when it comes into being. I mean, we were told end of November. I've more recently heard it'll probably be beginning of next year. But the importance of this first opening battle, and we will be the first one, with Wednesday are top of the list of things to take on when they become fully operational. And they've got to win it. If for some reason, and it shouldn't do with a list of charges against, but if for some reason Mr. Chansiri and his legal team manage to wriggle out of this, and it shows the new regulator to be sort of toothless, that makes it, open season for other club owners and chairmen. It gives them carte blanche to say, well, what are they going to do about it? If they can't get him out, possibly the worst owner in British football at the moment, what are they going to do about me? Nothing. Carte blanche to do what they want. So it's the first battle, and it will be the Wednesday battle, so important for them and vital that they get a result, and obviously vital for us as Wednesday supporters that they win that battle too. So all that to look forward to. The other news coming out of Hillsborough this week, which is obviously linked to the way that the club's run, is that hundreds of the non-playing staff at Hillsborough have joined a union. They've all joined Unite, of which I'm a member myself. And I've already seen what fucking unions, I think a lot of that is because the unions get a bad press in this country, certainly from our national print media, which comes as no surprise because they're run by millionaire oligarchs who want to oppress the working man. So by putting spew out about the unions which look after the working man, they can help turn people against each other. But for anyone who believes any of that bollocks, firstly, I suggest you wind your neck in and think about all the benefits that have been brought about by the unions over the years, such as health and safety in the workplace, working conditions, pay increases and benefits and pension benefits that have all been negotiated by the unions over the years. Your sick pay that everybody just sort of takes for granted these days, all negotiated by the unions over the years. So I'm absolutely delighted that those staff have joined up. I would encourage the ones that haven't yet to also do so. There are other benefits from joining the union. One is that they're going to be able to get legal advice, collective legal advice about what they need to do and if they do need to take any legal action against the club, which not being paid or partly paid or paid late, and the working conditions, we've heard some other stories come out of the club this week, vital towards fighting that. So I'm delighted that they have joined up, and I hope more do so. The other thing about the union, of course, is they will provide sort of financial backing where they can to the club, and as I said, legal advice and lawyers should it come to it. So I'm delighted on that, and every Wednesday supporter should be getting behind the staff who have joined the union and supporting them 100% in the decision to do that. And if it comes to the crunch and they have to take some sort of industrial action, we should again back them 100%. One person who hasn't joined the union is Andy Parslow, one of the coaches at Wednesday, who's left the club this week. He put out a statement, again quite a moving statement, how much he's loved it at Wednesday, how he's found the supporters to be the best in the land, with unbelievable backing, how much he enjoyed working with Danny Roll and Henrik Pedersen and all the playing staff. But he's reiterated again, and it's a message that we've heard time and again, that you've got to look after your family. You've got to look after your family, and not being paid, not knowing when you're going to get paid, or if you're going to get paid late, is something that you can't sustain. I mean, we're currently living in times where the price and cost of everything has gone through the roof. There's a cost of living crisis, and if you're not being paid, and you risk not only not being able to pay your mortgage, or the possibility of losing your house, but not being able to feed your kids. That's an absolutely terrible and disgusting situation to be in, and it just highlights massively the way the club's being run. So we've lost somebody there, and he might not be the last. It might not be the last. I think we all think about football as being this sort of fantasy land, and it's all part of the entertainment industry. But the fact of the matter is, like any other company, the employers have a duty to remunerate the staff for the duties and the job that they do. And our club is not doing that. So he's left, and I wish him all the best. And I can't fault him, because you have got to look after yourself and your family. And as I said, going back, equally, those staff who are still at the club, many of them Wednesday fans and supporters, and that's why it's difficult for them to make these sorts of decisions, and it probably makes it harder for them to do what Andy's done and walk away from the club, because they're Sheffield based, they're Wednesday supporters, some have worked there for decades. That's why we've got to support them in joining the union and giving them a collective voice to stick up for themselves, to stick up for the job and the work that they've done. The final bit of news coming out of Hillsborough is football news. Football, remember that. Young Ernie Weaver, he's been playing with an injury. Apparently he's got a fracture to his foot. You won't know the way he's been chucking himself into tackles. I mean, he's really coming in and grabbed the bull by the horns this season. And it's a devastating blow for the lad. The latest news is he's going to need some sort of treatment on his foot, maybe even an operation. And it is possibly going to be out to April. Now, it's a massive blow to the lad who's come in and been absolutely superb. Cemented himself a spot in that first team. But it's going to be a huge blow to Henrik and the team themselves. I said on Saturday after the game that we're only an injury or a suspension away from, looking paper thin, especially at the back, and now that's come to fruition with this. I'm gutted for the lad. I'm gutted for the team. I'm gutted for Barry Bannon, because Barry Bannon, for me this season, despite the hardships and the troubles, he seems to have been playing with a sort of renewed vigour for me. I think it's some of the best football I've seen from Bannon in the last 2 or 3 years. But what I would also say with that is one of the reasons for that, one of the catalysts for that, is Jan Valery going into midfield. He's gone in there, he's done that shuttling job in front of the back five. He's a lot better on the ball than he's given credit for as well, but he's given us that sort of solidity in front of the back four. But he's allowed Barry Bannon to get further up the pitch, and we've talked about this for the last 5 or 6 years under various managers. Get Bannon further up. Jan Valery's conversion to a midfield player has allowed him to do that. And with Ernie Weaver getting injured and is looking very thin, perhaps Jan's going to have to move back into that back five. What's going to happen to midfield then? What's that give us in there in terms of Bannon and, Ingleson? Fizia come in, again we start looking a little bit thin. Now maybe Henrik will have to, pull another youngster up out of the youth team, and everyone would back that, I think, and say, yeah, good, look what the others have done. Look how well Kadamatri's done, look how well Brown's done, look how well Weaver's done. But they'll be the pick of the crop. How many times can you keep doing that before it does weaken the team? And of course, going back to the way the club's run, Weaver's out injured, and we cannot bring anybody in to replace him. That's the sad truth of the matter. So there we go. Another gloom-laden week. An injury to our star young player who's come into the team this season and been a bit of a shining light. The news that Mr. Chansiri, as we knew he'd do, but confirmed will take on the regulator. What's it got to do with you? I'm doing my best. And the news that the, staff at Hillsborough, one of them has walked out on his job and the rest of them have joined the union and seeking legal advice, which, again, it's not the sort of thing you want to be talking about in relation to your football club on a football podcast, but I do see a little bit of light in that one. I am pleased for those staff who have joined that and are now going to get some sort of representation and somebody who can go in and help negotiate from it. And, as I said, that financial and legal backing should they need it, which, with the way things are going, they're probably going to. Anyway, that's the end of my roundup. I need to get off and have a shave because this beard's annoying me. It's putting years on me as well, hiding my boyish good looks.